Hello everybody, and once again this is Justin Pontarelli of the Living Sword Ministries. Yes, it's that kind of video. It's also a hiking video, so if you don't like hiking or Christian ministry stuff, click off and have a good day. And before we begin, yes, we are there again at Whitehaven Memorial Park. Otherwise known as the, I want to say, Pittsford-Parrington Cemetery. What you do, if you didn't know, is you walk through the cemetery, and at the back end is a huge collection of trails. Along the cemetery, they probably span for at least a good solid, I want to say, mile. And realistically, depth-wise, maybe only a quarter of a mile. Let me show you the cute little map real quick. This is pretty accurate. Okay, now you can't see it too well, but those of you who know, I'm in Pittsford, New York. Here we are, Marsh Road entrance. You go through all the, I'm gonna go down here, down here, down here, down here, to the parking section, and then I'm gonna enter into the woods. Okay? Forest, around Quake Creek is all throughout behind the cemetery. So once you get to the creek, you're basically done, because there's like typically a steep cutoff. Okay, like a hill, like a steep hill that goes all the way down into the creek, so you can't really go down past around Quake Creek. Okay, and then there's marked trails. It's a bunch of marked trails. Okay, and then typically, well, there you go. For those of you who know me enough at this point, know I don't stick to those. Keep that under your hats, will you? Okay, so, oh, what happened here? There's some downed limbs. That's interesting. See that behind me? Yeah. Someone needs to fix that. That can't be any good. They have their artificial waterfall turned off. That's sad. Thing's kind of pretty. So, I'm going to lead you through basically just the opening of what I'm going to do for the video, okay? And then I'll pause the recording. Then once I'm inside the woods area, then I'll start back up with the recording, and we'll go from there, okay? So, here we are. Okay. I'll be walking all the way down there. Okay? It's probably about a quarter of a mile, I don't know. It's really not a bad walk if you're young and healthy. On my bad days when my epilepsy is acting up, it's too long of a walk for me even to get down here in the first place from my house. But on good days, not a problem. Today's a good day. My brain's working pretty well. Quite a good day. Weather's only around 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, so that's great. Decent temperature, decent breeze, lots of shade where I'm going to be going, and even right now there's decent shade and decent cloud cover. So really, nothing to complain about here. I'm doing great. And it's a good day for a hike in the woods. Okay. So yeah, Living Sword Ministry stuff. And as succinctly as possible, which for me is hard because, you know, I'm getting to the point in my life where I ramble along like an older fella. Despite the fact I'm only 40, I tend to ramble on a bit. So I'll try to be succinct. And since I don't really do editing with my videos, well, what you hear is what you get, I guess, or realistically, what you hear or what you get is what I did. How's that? Okay. Does that explain things? So, for those of you who know, yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm what they call a Christian Universalist, which, to identify, if you don't know what that is, or if you're new to my channel, Christian Universalism is the belief that eventually, even after death and judgment, by the God of the Bible, everyone will eventually be with God in heaven, all of his creation. And for most universalists, that includes all the animals too, okay? So all animal souls, spirits, all human souls and spirits, and, you know, as the Bible says, I think in Revelation, behold, I make all things new. I think it's Revelation. Okay? All things. Not just some things. Not just a select number of things. All things. Okay? He even talks about making a new earth and a new heaven. Okay? So considering that viewpoint, why am I doing a topic about the rapture if I'm pretty confident that things turn out good anyway? Because the book of Revelation defines a period that we refer to as the Great Tribulation that's not going to be a great time to be on Earth. Okay? No one in their right mind would really want to be on Earth during this timeline, such as described in the book of Revelation. Okay? So you go through the book of Revelation. If you do a read through, the book is about, it's really a book of symbols. Okay, so it was given to the writer, I want to say either in a dream or in a vision, where he was shown things through symbols. Okay? Now obviously no one should be taking the book of Revelation literally. When you hear about things like a lady riding on a dragon or a four-headed beast or whatever upon the earth and stuff like that, literal horsemen of the apocalypse, no one believes that you're going to literally see a guy on a white horse with the sickle, you know, killing people. That doesn't work like that, okay? But the symbology and the meaning behind such events indicates lots of stuff going on, okay? Lots of stuff going on that ultimately you're not going to want to be around during that time frame, okay? So I wake up today, and lo and behold, you know, I'm going on YouTube, right? I start my day, get out of bed, I pop open YouTube, and one of the videos is 99.9% of people will be left behind in terms of the rapture, okay? I'll explain what the rapture is later, okay? But if you're a Christian and know what this is, then I'm preaching to the choir. You can probably click off and find something more exciting to watch, okay? This is going to be a bit dry, okay? I need to find a place to sit down and change my, fix my shoes. Laces are coming undone. Crappy laces. I'm sorry, kids. I'm trying to make this PG rated, but, you know, it's going to be a rather PG rated video, but didn't mean to. I feel bad sitting here. There are decorative benches with plaques on them. I'll be very careful. Let me show you real quick. Flip over. So there you go. There's the plaque. So very decorative bench. I'll just sit over here on this side. And y'all can sit with me while I talk and change my shoelace or relace. You'll probably just see the tree the whole time. I hope you guys can hear me talking. So the general point is that, you know, I think I've been compelled to do a video about the rapture, and more specifically, what to do if you're left behind because like I said, the video title that I saw earlier today when I woke up on YouTube was 99.9% of people are left behind. Okay, that's a lot of people. Okay. So that's the point of the video, is to discuss, well, if that actually does happen, whether you're a believer or not, let's say things do happen, and let's say you start to believe, and let's say you suddenly realize, okay, maybe they were right, now what do I do? That's going to be the point of the video. What do I do now? Because if I take an honest, faithful look at my life, I can make the argument that I might be left behind too, because I'm not the perfect shining example of Christendom. Quite the contrary. I'm not that good a guy. You know? So I'll just pop these shoes on real quick. Hold on. So yeah, so the video is basically going to be me trying to figure out what to do. And trying to leave as a video testimony, just in case, what should we all be doing after the fact happens? If it happens, okay. I think we're good. Let me give these horrible shoes a test run. They seem good now. Hiking stick and off we go. Time for a pause. Okay, back on, and we are entering the hiking trails. This is what I would call the, well, one of the main entrances anyway. Although this part really doesn't go very far. For that matter, I think it did go someplace at one point, but it kind of fell into disrepair, which makes it nice for me because I can go off trail here and no one would really know. See, behind me, this goes down to a dirt bridge, which doesn't go very far. At least not that I know of, because there's really nothing down there. There's nothing else down there. But I'm going to go off trail. Oops, not that. And to give you guys the benefit of the fun of the hiking experience, I'm going to keep the camera flipped most of the time in this direction. You guys can watch. At this point, if you just want to watch me hike around, you can probably mute the video and enjoy a virtual walk through the woods. While I continue to preach on, you guys don't got to listen to anything I say. But if you want to have the actual video experience and listen to what I have to say, then by all means, keep listening. Okay, I'm more than happy if you do so. In fact, I guess that's the whole point of the video, right? But to be fair, there's probably other people online that have created the same video at this point, and they probably do it much better than I do anyway. So why do I want to do one? Well, I forget who it was, but I think it was the Living Waters guy who had who heard something from an atheist one time, and the atheist said something like this. He said something like this. The gist of it was that, let's say you are really, really serious about something, really, really sincere, and really believe something really important, and even if no one is likely to believe you anyway, you should probably share it with people, especially if it could help them. Even if no one wants to believe you, even if no one will listen, you should at least put the information out there anyway, just in case eventually you are proven correct. Okay? So that is the assumption under which I present the video to you. Under the assumption that I may be proven correct, and if I'm proven correct, and if things go as badly as Revelation describes them going, I want everyone to be ready with some information that'll turn up in their favor at some point, okay? And guys, I'm going to take a quick look around, because we are going off trail, and according to the posted rules of this park, that's not supposed to happen. Okay? But I have found some deer trails, and I have found, therefore, some places that are relatively safe to walk if you're careful. The only difficulty is getting lost, which would be very hard to do now because I have the trails marked. I'm pretty confident I'm not being followed, so let's continue. So, under the assumption that I end up being proven correct, okay, let me give you guys some information. So first, again, this is about what happens if you become convinced that all this God stuff is real, that Jesus Christ is the real McCoy, that he had come back, that he had collected his faithful, and you have for some reason gotten left behind. Okay? Now there are some details that I'm going to gloss over or totally leave out of the video, because there's lots of tangents, lots of little offshoot tangents that I could get into and discuss, which I don't have time for because my phone has very little storage capacity left over, and anything beyond a 1 hour video, and I'm really pressing my luck. Okay, so let me focus on climbing this hill. This is a hill, okay? That's why I'm pointing at the ground right now. Very steep hill. Got a train in the background. See? You can see it now. See the slope? See that valley right there, that valley section? It's another hill back there, right there. See the hill? Then the valley. Now this hill. And this is the top of the hill. And here we go. So first of all, the concept of being left behind is pretty straightforward. Let's say your parents went on a trip to, I don't know, again, to make this kid-friendly, Walt Disney World. Okay, kids, anyone who's been faithful to mom and dad and who has been behaving themselves gets to go to Walt Disney World. Let's say you're in a modest family of 4 people, 4 kids. Okay? So the parents go to Walt Disney World, and whether you realize they're taking off or not is not the point. I'm not going to touch on that subject. Okay? The point is, they go to Walt Disney World. Suddenly you realize they're gone. You realize some of your siblings are gone. And suddenly you realize, I have been left behind. Okay? So that's the general idea. Let me put the stick someplace. A hiking stick. That's easier. So that's the concept. The concept is the Almighty's coming back to take us someplace nice. And according to most Christians, most of us, most human beings in general, not just non-believers, but potentially believers too. I'm not going to get into the why and how of how that's possible and why I believe it might be possible, even for myself. But as a believer, it's a concern. And if you do generally care about people, if you generally do have a love for your fellow man, then you should act in their best interests, even if they're not inclined to believe you anyway. Okay? And that goes back to what that Living Waters guy had heard from someone. You know, it was from an atheist. The atheist basically said, let's say I'm in the middle. Sorry, I stutter right now. I gotta calm down and slow down. Let's say I'm in the middle of a road, and there's a truck about to hit me. Well, let's say the truck is invisible and makes no noise, and I can't see it because it's invisible, but someone else can see the truck, and the driver isn't paying attention to the road, so the driver can't see you either. He's about to hit you. He can't see you. You can't see him. You can't hear the truck coming because it doesn't make any noise, but someone else somehow can see the truck. At first, you might warn the guy who's walking in the middle of the road, hey, get out of the road, there's a truck coming, it's going to hit you and kill you. The guy says, well, I don't believe you. At what point do you simply push the guy out of the road in order to save his life? Okay? Well, in my opinion, that point in time is coming pretty close. Now, I hope to goodness I'm wrong. I hope I'm very wrong. I hope we have more time. But in case we don't, that's what this video is for. Okay? To push people out of the way, and if they don't get out of the way of the truck, I'm going to give you instructions that should help. It should help you in case you get hit by the truck. Okay? In case Christ comes again and you get left behind. So first, let's quickly define the rapture. The rapture is simply an event where Christ comes back to earth, collects his faithful followers from any and all denominations, in my opinion, and takes them up with him. Okay? Who he collects, I'm not entirely sure. But if you read Revelation, stuff gets pretty scary. If you read different places in the Bible, it gets pretty scary. And there's even an inkling that people who are Christians could be left behind too. Alright, so that's what we want to tackle. So let's finally get into it after stalling all this time. What do you do? So let's say you're convinced. You notice some people in your life have turned up missing. People who you would consider good Christians, good examples of their faith. People who in your mind have really embodied the Spirit of Christ, have really loved their neighbors, have loved others as themselves. And that's really what it boils down to, because there's a passage in the Bible that says, those who do not know love do not know God, for God is love. So real simple, if you don't treat other people in a loving manner, then you just simply do not know God, even if you claim to. Okay? And if you do not know God, then... Hold on, guys. I heard something. I gotta pause. Well, I found the noise I'm looking for. They're deer. You probably can't see them because they're really camouflaged with the rest of the forest. But they're over thereabouts. My zoom on my phone is really bad. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're moving. I don't think they crossed. No, they didn't cross the path. They went off in that direction. Deeper back. I thought it was people walking around in the woods. And if I'm sitting here talking off trail, I could have been caught and turned in by someone. I know why be back there then? Well, 'cause it's fun. On trail hiking's boring, so yeah, the rest of the hiking basically will be on trail for the most part. Okay. So where was I? So he who does not love does not know God, for God is love. Okay? And if you don't know God, in Matthew chapter 5, if you start to read the Sermon on the Mount, you get the feeling very quickly, you begin to learn very quickly that if God does not know you, then, well, you're in a bit of trouble there, okay? So you can claim to know God all you want to, but in reality, if there's different signs that would indicate that you really don't. So by that logic, even people like me have to be very careful, because it might just be that I really don't truly love people. And there has been evidence in my life that I really haven't truly loved other people other than myself. In many ways, I have been self-centered. So, not that, salvation's about earning, doing things to earn salvation, but I don't know. So that's complicated. That'd be another subject altogether. Okay. But if you had to boil it down, the river, guys, is down there. That's the river. See the river right there? Yeah, that's the river right there. That's the Untitled River. Stream, whatever it's called, stream. Down a long, nasty hill. So at this point right here, you don't go beyond this section right here. All along here. That's a cutoff point. You go beyond there and that's it. Your life is in your own hands. I gotta watch for deer too. Just in case they get a little antsy, I don't want them to, see me as a threat. So, okay, so you get left behind. So you see evidence that, okay, maybe those crazy Christians were right, and God is real. Jesus Christ came to collect those guys, and now we are experiencing what the Bible refers to, or I should be specific and say what Christians refer to as the tribulation, and basically events that are described in the book of Revelation are occurring. And again, how to interpret the book of Revelation is not the topic of conversation here. I'm not an expert in interpretation of that book. Okay? If anything, it's my weakest point ever. But I do know a few things about what to do if you're left behind. So let's tackle that finally, okay? So let's do this. Let's pause. Okay, we're back on. And about 30 minutes in right now, which means I've got to truck it. Okay? So I only have about another 30 minutes left to record. So I think we want to go down to Revelation 14, verse 11. And you can see how the chapter starts out. And this is from Young's literal translation, which is basically a much more literal translation coming from the same source text as the King James Version, which would be my preferred source text. Okay? It's called the Textus Receptus. Ooh, squirrel. Oh, man. Sorry, guys, you're going to miss the whole thing, too. Hold on, I'll fix that problem. See the tail? See him leaving the area? I know, not the best shot ever. Sorry. Okay, so the chapter starts off by saying, "And I saw, and lo, a lamb having stood upon the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having the name of their father written upon their foreheads." Okay, so this is the contrast between those who have taken the mark of the beast, which is part of the problem. You don't want to take the mark of the beast. I'll explain that later. And those who God has basically said, these are my people. Okay? Let's go down to verse 11, though, I think. Oh, skip that. Okay. We'll start at verse 12. So chapter 14, verse 12 in Revelation. "Here is the endurance of the saints. Here are those keeping the commands of God and the faith of Jesus." Now, we have a deer watching me give my sermon. That's pretty awesome. 2, 3, maybe, no, just 2. Yeah, I'm talking about Jesus. You want to hear about him? I'm looking for antlers because I don't want to get, they look like they'll leave me alone for the most part. I guess I want to listen. So guys, the faith of Jesus is very important, and I'll get to that later as well. Oh, they gave a little hiss and they kind of bonked off. That's cool. Yeah, they're taking a run for it. That's cool. Maybe there's people coming, I don't know. And verse 13. "And I heard a voice out of the heavens saying to me, Right happy are the dead, also blessed. Blessed are the dead who is in the Lord, are dying from this time. Yes, say the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them." Okay. So what is this all about? Basically, they're talking about martyrdom. Now, when I say martyrdom, I'm not talking about the Muslim version of martyrdom where you go and blow someone up in the name of Allah. That's not what this is. That's not Christendom. If you believe that real Christendom, that real Christians are supposed to be about bombing abortion clinics, or killing people in the name of Christ, then you guys are misinterpreting. You're listening to the wrong idiots. You're listening to a bunch of whack nuts, okay? Guys, I'm a Christian. I stay home. I keep to myself, I never used to, preach at all. I just keep it to myself, I live and let live, right? I was, 10, 12 years old, and it's like, live and let live. Who cares? You don't want to believe? Don't believe. I want to believe. That's my business, right? But as you get older, it's like, well, but the Bible says, let your light shine. Do not hide it. Well, you do that by how you behave, how you treat other people. And at some point, yes, by sharing your faith. And yeah, if someone asks you, well, why do you believe? You're supposed to give an answer. But it's not about having a long debate about, who's right and who's wrong. I give you my reasons. If you don't want to believe, that's up to you. I don't care. Okay, that's not what this is about. Okay? So, what type of martyrdom, then, are we talking about? Well, the idea is that things will apparently get very difficult for believers, for Christians, I suppose, in general, to the point of people that go around proclaiming faith in Christ will be persecuted to the point of possibly death. So basically, if you go around and preach your faith in various places, you can get killed. Now you might be asking yourself, well, where in the world will that happen ever? Well, there are places, such as, for example, Saudi Arabia. If you go as a Christian and preach openly the gospel of the Bible, you will get killed. That's all there is to it. Okay, I knew a Filipino lady living in that country, and she said, yes, that is what happens. Okay, you do not preach the Christian gospel, okay, in Saudi Arabia openly. Okay, any church activity is done underground. In other words, you hide it. If you have a Bible, you hide it. If you congregate with other Christians, you hide it. You keep it a secret. You don't talk about it. Kind of like Fight Club. First rule about Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club, okay? So yes, do I believe that such persecution could end up happening in America? I don't know, I hope not. Okay. Are there people that are hostile enough against Christians that they might decide that hurting them is okay? Maybe. I don't know. But that's what this passage is about. It's about going out there, okay, and laboring that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. At this point, you live for Christ. If you've missed the boat, so to speak, at this point you live for Christ. You evangelize like there's no tomorrow. You treat others with love and kindness, even if they want to beat you to death. Okay? And if someone says, denounce Christ or you die, you proclaim Christ and your belief in Christ, and then you die. That's the type of martyrdom we're talking about. We're not talking about going around with an AK-47 and blowing people away if you're a believer. No. Okay? You don't do that. You proclaim Christ. You live the way Christ lived to the best of your ability. You proclaim Christ. Proclaim him as Lord and Savior. And if someone wants you dead, let them kill you. You let it happen. You die for Christ. Because the Bible speaks about if you, proclaim Christ in front of other people, God will also, accept you. And I forgot the exact verse, but, let me pause the video. I'll try to find it, okay? Hold on. This could be a bit. Okay, I found it. There's a few references to this point. I guess there's Matthew 10:32, Luke 12:8, and the more famous Romans 10:9. That if you confess with your mouth Jesus Christ is Lord, and believe that God brought him back to life, you will be saved. Let me pop that open, shall we? Okay, let's see here. We will read from the Yoda Speak version, which will be the one I like, Young's Literal. And here we are. That if thou mayest confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and mayest believe in thy heart that God did raise him out of the dead, thou shalt be saved. Now let's go to the next verse. Okay. Come on, number 10 now. Let's go. There we go. My service out here is so slow, it's just bad. Okay. For with the heart doth the one believe to righteousness, and with the mouth is confession made to salvation. Okay? So, the general idea is, if you proclaim Christ in front of men, God basically says, boom, that's my man. Boom, that's my child. Okay? Boom, that guy's mine. Okay? That's the idea. Okay? So that's kind of the first step regarding martyrdom. Okay? That you basically live for Christ to the point of, if someone wants to come along and kill you because you believe in God and Jesus Christ of the Bible, then that's it. You have to die. If they want to kill you, if you die for him because of your faith, you are basically guaranteed a spot with God. That's all there is to it, okay? Now, what about the faith of Jesus Christ? How does this relate to martyrdom? Well, let me see if I can find that too. That's kind of difficult. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to find the exact verse in this collection. I'll just kind of skim through it real quick, okay? But you can get the point, though, right? I mean, look at Matthew 10:39, for example. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Okay? Do not be surprised, brothers, that the world hates you. Okay? Let's see here. Okay, so I can't find the exact verse here. Let me pause again, okay? Okay, so in case you have a Bible at home and want to find out what I'm referencing to, okay, in conjunction to the Revelations chapter 14 verse, here it is. Okay, the faith of Christ. Okay, what is it? In Philippians chapter 2, verse 8, and I'm reading from Young's literal translation, okay? And in fashion, having been found as a man, he humbled himself, having become obedient unto death, death even of a cross. Let's try the more traditional King James. Let's see. Here we are. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. And this relates back to when Christ is praying in the garden. You know, he's got his buddies nearby kind of watching out for him while he prays. And you could say, well, why is God talking to himself if Christ is God? Guys, first of all, that's not the point of the video. The point is, as a man, he can understand what it means to be afraid of death and the process of dying. Okay? For me, for example, it's not so much, being afraid of being dead. It's about dying. What if I die painfully, slowly? So Christ knows how it's going to happen, how he'll be beaten and mocked and cursed and then hung on a cross and die in probably the most painful way ever, possibly. Okay? And that's what Philippians 2:8 is a reference to. It's a reference to the fact Christ knew he was going to die and knew how it was going to happen. But he was faithful. He stuck to the plan. He said, okay, I know that's the plan, right? That's the plan in order to demonstrate to the world that I love them, that you love them, right? To demonstrate our love, the love of God to men, okay? For God so loved the world, right? John 3:16, okay? So when you go back to Revelation, that's what this is about. Let me pause again. Back to Revelation chapter 14. I think it's 14, verse 12. Here is the endurance of the saints. Here are those keeping the commands of God and the faith of Jesus. In other words, a faith similar to that of Jesus. How Jesus was faithful, obedient, and humble, even to the point of death. So you live like Christ, even if it means dying. Okay. So that's basically the main way to remedy the situation if you realize I've missed the rapture, those crazy Christians were right, God's real, Christ is real, they're all gone, or some of them are gone, and crazy things are happening that are similar to what's described in Revelation, okay? In Revelation, there's the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls, okay? They're all types of judgment. Again, the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls, okay? All of them kind of bring on different events. All right? Now let me give you the other key here, okay? One moment. Now here we are at openbible.info. Great reference site to find verses and stuff based upon, keywords and topics. And you're going to want to go to Revelation 13 in your Bible. Just read the whole, thing if you want to, and you'll find out what I'm talking about. We're talking about the beast and the mark of the beast. Let me read from this section here, Revelation 13, verses 16 through 18, and this website quotes from the ESV, English Standard Version, okay? Also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one, here's the key, guys, here's the key, no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You guys ever heard the old Iron Maiden song, Number of the Beast? You should look it up. Pretty fun. But yeah, now, again, there's different views and interpretations about who or what the beast might be and what exactly the mark is. But in my opinion, it's very easy to identify what it could be, because whatever it is, unless you have taken the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell. In other words, you will basically be cut off from the world's economy. Okay? If you cannot buy or sell, that basically means you will not even be able to walk into a 7-Eleven and buy, a thing of Pepsi without having had taken the mark of the beast. Okay? It's that simple. It's that obvious. Okay? You can't, I don't know, put something up in a marketplace without having taken the mark of the beast. So in other words, any and all transactions that you do will have to be done underground, potentially with paper money, if it's still accepted at the time, or using the barter system, okay? So that's going to be no fun, but the Bible describes how if you take the mark of the beast, you are in trouble. Because taking the mark of the beast is basically akin to aligning yourself against God, against Christ, basically saying, well, forget God, forget Christ. I'd rather just, run along with what the rest of everyone else is doing so I can survive and survive well. At least survive better than they do, right? Guys, in reality, this is the opposite of what you want to do. Do not take the mark of the beast. Okay? Now, I imagine if you've already taken the mark of the beast, if you decide to take it at some point without knowing you've taken it, once you've identified that you've taken it, again, go back to what I originally said. You have to become a martyr for Christ, which means go out there. Proclaim the gospel. Okay? Proclaim the gospel. Proclaim that Christ has come, that he has died for sin, to defeat the works of Satan, and, to set us free from all that stuff. Okay? He has died for us to demonstrate that he loves us, that he has returned for his people. Okay? So, even if I'm mocked out for this testimony, that's okay. Guys, I'm not necessarily on YouTube for likes, for thumbs up, for pats on the back, for fan mail, whatever, hey. Initially I joined to start posting videos about my beliefs. Interstellar Pilot became like a side thing. Something for fun. So, yeah, that's what happened there, okay? So, guys, that in a nutshell is what you need to do if you end up realizing those wacky Christians were right, Christ has come, Christians are missing, no one knows where they went to. Guys, don't for a moment believe it's aliens, okay? What purpose would aliens have with a bunch of, religious whack jobs, right? What does an alien want to do with me anyway? Let's say I go missing. Let's say I don't get passed over. Let's say I'm taken. What would an alien want with me? I have a brain problem. I have epilepsy. My shoulders dislocate. I'm worthless. I'm just a silly 40-year-old man who believes in God. Okay? Now the deer are going to look at me. I found the deer again. Let me see if I can get to them for you guys. Hold on. Okay, it's so fuzzy. Yeah, that's max zoom. He's right there. But my camera, yeah, see the head move? Sorry guys, I can't, I can't. So now again, there's lots of ways to interpret the book of Revelation. There are some Christians who say, well, the entire Bible and all of its prophecy has already come to pass. I'm not going to get into that. I don't believe that. I'm technically what they call a futurist, which means I believe that all of the events of Revelation have yet come to pass, and that the rapture could happen, I don't know when. Now, speaking of the rapture, real quick, is everyone going to see it coming? When it happens, will you see that it has in fact happened, or will it be somewhat of a mystery? Now, I don't know. Okay, now here's why. As I quietly try to walk past the deer so they don't spaz out, right? I remember when I was a kid, guys, my grandma would tell me, be very quiet, because I'd walk back behind her house, and behind her house there were some like woods, kind of like this, that led up to an old barn. She'd say, be very quiet, because of the deer. Now, I didn't know why. I just figured she liked deer and didn't want them scared away. She liked to watch deer. Now, of course, they are big animals, though. If they freak out, though, you know, so I don't want to scare them. So let's walk quietly and slowly. So I know I lost my train of thought. That's not good. Yeah, there's a doe watching me. I don't see any bucks, thankfully. I'm a little nervous around bucks, but yeah, she's just a doe. You just kind of walk away, she'll give you a pass, right? Let me pause while I recollect my thoughts. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, so I remember now. It's kind of on a tangent about, you know, if you suddenly realize Christians are missing, no one knows where they are, so don't believe it's going to be aliens. Don't believe it was aliens. Aliens don't want me. I don't believe aliens want me. I don't believe the government wants me. Why would the government want me? Okay, I don't have anything against them. In fact, I need their help. I need them to approve my disability so I can get some money. Okay? So I can get money even though I have epilepsy and don't work or can't work. Okay? I got nothing against them. You know, I don't care who wins. I don't care if it's Trump or Biden. In fact, I really want Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate. But I live in New York State, so typically New York goes Democrat, so in reality, it doesn't matter who I vote for. If I vote Democrat, Biden probably wins anyway in New York. And if I vote for Jorgensen, she won't win anyway, unless a lot of people vote for her, which I don't think it's going to happen. And Trump, he might be able to win New York, but I don't think so. So anyway, that doesn't matter. I need the government. I need their help. So it's not, I don't have anything against them. There's no plot against them here. All right? So it's not going to be the government. I don't think aliens will have any use for a guy with epilepsy with semi-working arms. Okay? It just won't happen. So I'm going to argue at that point, get out your Bibles. Read Revelation. All of it. Okay? Look at what's going on. Now, if I'm wrong, cool, no problem. I die, I rot in my grave, and there's nothingness. And I'm not conscious of it. Great, cool. Okay? But if I'm right, then it's not just avoiding a dip in the lake of fire. Well, maybe that is what it is about at this point, I suppose. But missing the boat, missing that trip to Disney World, right? Remember the metaphor, the trip to Disney World with your family. Why would you want to miss that trip with your family to Disney World? Okay, to go on the rides, to enjoy seeing Mickey and Minnie in costume, getting the autographs, and I don't know, you know, and just enjoy the experience. an adventure with your family. Why would you want to miss that? You don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss that. Okay, part of what I believe is that if you miss the boat, then you miss some of the best stuff happening with Christ. And if I could possibly miss that, if it's possible that I do miss it, I need to take my own advice. And I'm gonna make the argument right now. It's not going to be easy to resist the mark of the beast. Guys, I need my medication. I need Keppra. I need Tegretol. And to a degree, to a small degree, I need Ativan. If I don't have those, I can have seizures. When I have seizures, they're grand mals. When I have a grand mal seizure, both my arms can potentially dislocate at the shoulder. I have very low pain tolerance, so I scream sometimes like a girl. Okay, how can I resist taking the mark of the beast? How can I be a perfect, loving Christian who I'm a coward, okay? I'm a coward. Can I do this in real life? In front of people, live? In person? No. If I saw you in person, could I tell you all this stuff in person? No, I would probably not. I would keep it to myself. I would keep it to myself. I do it online because I'm safe. You don't know where I am. You can't hunt me down. You can't make fun of me. You can't spit in my face. You can call me a moron even here, but I can just delete the comment. I don't care. I'm safe here. There's no recourse. But after the fact, if Christ passes me over for whatever reason, if he passes you over, what excuse will we have? Okay? Do not take the mark of the beast, and be prepared to die as a martyr for Christ. Love others, even if they want to attack you and kill you. Show them love. Show them kindness. Do good things for them, to them. Okay? Proclaim the gospel. Proclaim Christ. Regardless of what it costs you personally. Do it. And you shall be saved. And yes, I'm a universalist Christian, which means I believe that even after a dip in the lake of fire, you can still and will probably go to heaven after a time. But what the lake of fire is, and do you want to go there? The answer is, I don't know exactly, but no, you don't want to go there. So whatever it is, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be Disney World. So you missed the boat, your parents come back, and then they ground you for a month. As you're locked in your room, thinking about what you did, it's not going to be pretty. Okay? 1 second. So here we are. Just a second later, because I gotta be quiet. I'm approaching the areas where I'm not supposed to be. I'm gonna go off trail again while I finish up my video, okay? But I want you to experience this. This is pretty fun. So here we are. This is a side trail section that used to lead to a like a maintenance site, but a tree fell in the way, and I think they also pushed the tree here. Over yonder is a train track, so we're really at the back end of this place. You're not really supposed to be here. So I'll be quiet. Guys, I'll be quiet. Just enjoy the walk. It's not very far though, because in about a couple minutes, we're gonna get to a place where you probably were at one point supposed to be able to go to. Okay, because on the map, there's a section on the park map that's labeled for future expansion. And I think this is it. I have trail markers here too, cut in the trees, but I don't need to see them because I know where we are. This whole section is very obvious. At least for me it is. But no one on bike or on foot will typically want to go back here. I do it because adventure, fun. That little rebellious spirit in me says, do it. It's fun. You'll enjoy it. Okay. And here we are at the end of it, basically right now. And to verify, that's one of my marks right there. And that's the one for going back home, right there. And see right there, guys, look, tire tracks, right? See that? Yeah. This was something at some point in time. Now it's not. So guys, in summary, do not take the mark of the beast. If there is something that you must take, whether it's literally on your forehead or hand, or metaphorically, okay? If not taking it means that you cannot buy or sell or partake in the world's economy, then that's the mark of the beast, okay? Now, some people have said, well, maybe it's the barcodes or your social security card. I don't think so necessarily. Okay, I don't think so. That's another topic that I'm probably not going to touch, so I'm not going to go there and worry about it. Okay, not worth my time. Don't take the mark, and be prepared to die as a martyr. Love others. Proclaim Christ. Even if it means you die too. And if you have to die, take it on the chin like a man and die. Okay? And no, being a martyr in the Christian sense does not mean going around killing people. That's not what it means. It means you die without hurting anybody. That's what it means. Like Christ did. Like a lamb to the slaughter. He didn't fight back. He did not fight back. When he was taken by the Roman soldiers, according to the Bible, he told his followers, stop, knock it off, let them take me. Okay? That's the idea, guys. The faith of Christ. Be humble and faithful up to death. Don't take the mark. Okay? Sorry for the glare. And that's what to do. That is what to do if you miss the rapture. Okay, and again, the rapture is simply Christ coming down to collect his people. Whether it's going to be a grand, public, obvious event or not, I'm not sure. There's verses that kind of indicate both possibilities. He comes like a thief in the night, but at the same time, there seems to be a bit of fanfare, so I don't know, but that's not the point. The point is what to do if you miss the boat, and you want to take that boat. You want to be with him. It's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. If you miss the boat, you live through some bad times. And then if you don't do the right thing after that point, then you're going to wind up in like a fire, which you don't want to be there. Yeah, I believe you're going to be there and then eventually be with God, but that's why go that route? Why go through it? Don't go through it. You don't have to. You should not have to. And this has been Justin Ponarelli of the Living Sword Ministry saying until next time, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Comment, question, criticism down below, and see ya. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Oops.